Hey, that's me playing the guitar. I always wanted to play the guitar, and then after years of procrastinating, I finally started to learn. I also spend lots of time looking through a camera lens trying to capture the world around me. I like working on my gardening skills, riding my bike, and spending lots of time with my family. Although I am finally doing the things that make me happy in life, it hasn't always been like this. Let me back it up a little bit and explain. That's me, Rigo. I grew up in a small Midwest town and I had awesome parents that were very involved and active in my life. I grew up with a brother who to this day is my best friend and a kid sister who is still cute as a button. I had very nice parks to play in, had a really nice house with good neighbors, and even a white picket fence. I went to the best schools and to church every Sunday with my family. I spent my summers at the ballpark, and I had many good friends and laughs throughout the years. This was the first time I remember thinking, life is good. It was just then that the real world threw me a curveball, or I should say a few. I became very angry with what was happening, and with a chip on my shoulder and a sense of entitlement, I set off to face the world on my own. As you can imagine, that ended me up in a lot of places that I shouldn't have been. It didn't help that my strategy for dealing with life was just to get away. So I rode as fast as I could, I jumped as far as I could, I swam as deep as I could, and pretty much did just about anything I could to get away. I was spiraling out of control, and I was headed to places that didn't look too promising. And then something happened that changed my life forever. You see, you meet people your whole life, but to better understand why she is so special, I have to back it up and explain a little bit. Claudia was born to immigrant parents in a small town not too far from where I grew up. She had a more modest house with more modest neighbors than what I was accustomed to. Her schools were quite different, as well as the parks and the playgrounds that she used to play in. Her white picket fences even looked a little bit different. I remember thinking, here's this girl from the other side of the tracks who has every reason to have a chip on her shoulder. What is she possibly going to teach me about life? Well, she told me to slow down and that life wasn't a race to the finish line because you could end up missing a lot of amazing things along the way. And she taught me that being alone with your thoughts doesn't mean that you have to feel lonely, and at the same time, sharing your thoughts with someone is a beautiful thing too. She taught me that laughing is contagious and that you have to learn to laugh at yourself every single day and to try to make someone else laugh every day too. She reminded me how much I love music and how beautiful diversity really is. She encouraged me to visit all the places that I've ever wanted to go to and to see all the things I've ever wanted to see and to do all the things that I've ever wanted to do. She taught me to try new things and to step outside of my comfort zone once in a while and to meet new friends and new people. She reminded me to say thank you when people do something nice for you and to celebrate every day that we are given. She taught me to put some time aside every day for the ones that matter most in your life. And most importantly, she taught me to think about others before you thought about yourself. You know, the most amazing thing is that she actually lives the way she talks about. I'll give you an example. Instead of a honeymoon, she's elected to spend the 10 days after our wedding next year on a medical mission in a third world country. You know, I decided to do this for her, not for me, because I've already won more than any contest could ever give me by being able to spend the rest of my life with her. I feel that she deserves to have the most amazing wedding ever. As for me, when I go back to the neighborhood I grew up in, I sit back and think once again, life is good.